Subsection 7, the President discusses Flynn with FBI Director Comey. On February 14, 2017, the day after Flynn's resignation, the President had lunch at the White House with New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. According to Christie, at one point during the lunch, the President said, and I quote, "Now that we fired Flynn, the Russian thing is over." Christie laughed and responded, "No way." He said, and I quote, "This Russia thing is far from over, and we'll be here on Valentine's Day 2018 talking about this." The President said, "What do you mean?" Flynn met with the Russians. That was the problem. I fired Flynn. It's over. End of quote. Christie recalled responding that based on his experience both as a prosecutor and as someone who had been investigated, firing Flynn would not end the investigation. Christie said there was no way to make an investigation shorter, but a lot of ways to make it longer. The President asked Christie what he meant, and Christie told the President not to talk about the investigation, even if he was frustrated at times. Christie also told the President that he would never be able to get rid of Flynn, and I quote, "like gum on the bottom of your shoe."
Towards the end of the lunch, the President brought up Comey and asked if Christie was still friendly with him. Christie said he was. The President told Christie to call Comey and tell him that the President, quote unquote, really likes him. Tell him he's a part of my team, end quote. At the end of the lunch, the President repeated his request that Christie reach out to Comey. Christie had no intention of complying with the President's request that he contact Comey. He thought the President's request was, quote unquote, nonsensical, and Christie did not want to put Comey in the position of having to receive such a phone call. Christie thought it would have been uncomfortable to pass on that message.
At 4 p.m. that afternoon, the President met with Comey, Sessions, and other officials for a Homeland Security briefing. At the end of the briefing, the President dismissed the other attendees and stated that he wanted to speak to Comey alone. Sessions and senior advisor to the President, Jared Kushner, remained in the Oval Office as other participants left, but the President excused them, repeating that he wanted to speak only with Comey. At some point after others had left the Oval Office, Priebus opened the door, but the President sent him away.
According to Comey's account of the meeting, once they were alone, the President began the conversation by saying, quote, "I want to talk about Mike Flynn," end quote. The President stated that Flynn had not done anything wrong in speaking with the Russians, but had to be terminated because he had misled the Vice President. The conversation turned to the topic of leaks of classified information, but the President returned to Flynn saying, quote, "He's a good guy and has been through a lot," end quote. The President stated, quote, "I hope you can see your way clear to letting this go, to letting Flynn go. He's a good guy. I hope you can let this go," end quote. Comey agreed that Flynn, quote unquote, is a good guy, but did not commit to ending the investigation of Flynn. Comey testified under oath that he took the President's statement, quote unquote, as a direction because of the President's position and the circumstances of the one-on-one meeting.
Shortly after meeting with the President, Comey began drafting a memorandum documenting their conversation. Comey also met with his senior leadership team to discuss the President's request, and then agreed not to inform FBI officials working on the Flynn case of the President's statements, so the officials would not be influenced by the request. Comey also asked for a meeting with Sessions and requested that Sessions not leave Comey alone with the President again.